All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to tackle something that can feel a little complicated, but is actually one of the most useful tools out there. We're turning chaos into clarity by really understanding spreadsheets. Let's do this.
You know that feeling, right? When you're trying to plan something or track your budget or just make a list, and you've got numbers, notes, and ideas scattered everywhere. It honestly feels like you're drowning in little bits of information.
Well, there is such a simple, elegant solution to all that mess. It's called a spreadsheet. And at its core, it's just an app designed to take all that messy info and put it into a clean, simple table. It is literally built for creating order out of chaos.
Now, I know the word spreadsheet can sound a little intimidating, maybe even a bit boring. So for a second, I want you to just forget that word. Instead, I want you to think of it like this. It's your ultimate digital notebook. It's a blank page, ready for all your ideas. But it's a notebook with some pretty amazing superpowers built right in.
So, to really understand this digital notebook, we have to get its basic anatomy. And you know what? We're going to build one right now, just from the ground up. It's way, way simpler than you might think.
Okay, so everything starts with what's called a workbook. That's the entire file. Just think of it as the physical notebook itself. And then inside that notebook, you've got all your individual pages, and we call those worksheets. You can have just one, or you can have a ton of them.
Now, each of these pages, these worksheets, is basically just a grid. And that grid is built on these horizontal rows that run from left to right. And each one gets its own number, 1, 2, 3, and on and on.
And then, intersecting with those rows, we have vertical columns. These guys run from top to bottom. And instead of numbers, columns are identified by letters. A, B, C, and so on. You can already see how the grid is starting to take shape, right? And here it is. Where a row and a column meet, they create this perfect little rectangle called a cell. And this little box, this is the fundamental building block. This is where all of your information is actually going to live.
So the really crucial thing to get here is that every single piece of data gets its own unique home. We call this its cell address, which is just the column letter followed by the row number. So, A1, B2, C3. It's this simple, super logical system that keeps everything perfectly organized. Okay, so we know what it is. It's a grid of cells. Big deal, right? Well, this is where it gets really cool. This is where we talk about those superpowers I mentioned. This is what makes a spreadsheet so much more than just a boring old table. We're talking about 4 main powers you can unleash. First, just getting all your data managed and organized. Second, doing instant calculations and analysis. Third, creating really clear visual charts and graphs. And last but not least, seamless collaboration. Let's take a quick look at each one. The first superpower is like magic math. Seriously, forget your calculator. You just put in your numbers, write a really simple formula, like telling it to add up a whole column, and bam, you get instant answers. This is an absolute game changer for budgets, sales tracking, any kind of financial planning. For example, look at this. Here's some sales data, all neat and tidy in a table. It's structured, sure, but what's the story here? Which product is the star? It's pretty hard to tell just by scanning the numbers, isn't it? But now, check this out. This is the power of visualization. With just a few clicks, that same data gets transformed into a chart. And instantly, the story is crystal clear. We can immediately see product B is our top performer. Spreadsheets turn numbers into actual insights. And finally, there's the power of teamwork. I mean, we all know the old way, right? Emailing files back and forth, total confusion about which version is the final version 2. The new way? It's so much better. Modern spreadsheets let a whole team work on the exact same document at the exact same time from anywhere in the world. So, you're ready to jump in. Which tool should you actually use? Well, while there are a bunch of options out there, it usually comes down to 2 heavy hitters, Microsoft Excel and Google Sheets. So here's a super simple breakdown. Microsoft Excel is kind of the original heavyweight champion. It's usually installed right on your desktop, and it is an absolute powerhouse for really complex stuff like deep financial modeling and serious data analysis. Then you've got Google Sheets. It's totally cloud-based, which means it lives online, and its biggest strength is making it incredibly easy for teams to collaborate in real time. It's all about accessibility. So, after all that, what are the big things to remember? First, a spreadsheet is just a simple grid for getting your information organized. That's all it is. Second, its real power is turning that raw data into clear visuals that you can actually understand. And third, it's there to help you do math in a flash and work with other people easily. And that brings us to the end. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. What is one thing in your life right now, could be at work, could be personal, a project, a budget, a goal, that you could bring a little more clarity to just by organizing it in a simple grid? The possibilities are pretty much endless.